Have you ever looked at your bank account and wondered, why didn't anyone teach me about this in school? I mean, we spent years learning about the Pythagorean theorem, but somehow missed the lesson on how to actually manage our money. Today, I'm sharing 3 powerful rules about money that most of us never learned in the classroom. These aren't complicated financial concepts that require a degree to understand. They're simple, practical rules that can completely transform your financial future. Rule number 1, income minus savings equals expenses, not the other way around. The first rule is probably the biggest mindset shift many of us need to make. Income minus savings equals expenses. Wait, what? Isn't it supposed to be income minus expenses equals savings? That's exactly what most of us were taught, if taught anything at all. We're told to pay our bills, buy what we need, and then save whatever's left over. But here's the cold, hard truth. When you do it that way, there's usually nothing left to save. Let me share some numbers with you. According to recent surveys, about 64% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and nearly 40% would struggle to cover an unexpected $400 emergency expense. That's almost half of us who are one surprise car repair away from financial trouble. Here's how this rule works in practice. When you get paid, immediately take a percentage off the top, before you pay bills, before you buy groceries, before you do anything else. This money goes straight to savings or investments. Let's say you make $3,000 a month instead of income, $3,000. Expenses, $2,950. Savings, $50 if you're lucky. You flip the script. Income, $3,000. Savings, $300, 10% right off the top. Expenses, $2,700. But wait, I can hear you saying, I can't afford to live on $2,700 instead of $2,950. This is where the magic happens. When you commit to saving first, you'll find ways to make it work with what's left. Maybe you'll cook at home more often or find a cheaper phone plan. Your expenses naturally adjust to match what's available. This isn't always easy, I know. I struggled with this myself. The first month I tried saving 10% first, I had to get creative with meals for the last week. I was eating some interesting pasta combinations, let me tell you. But by month 3, I had completely adjusted my spending and didn't even miss that money. And the best part? 6 months later, I had saved more than I had in the previous 3 years combined. Now, if you're thinking this is impossible for you, start smaller. Even saving 1% or 2% is better than nothing. Then gradually increase it. Your future self will thank you. Rule number 2, the price of convenience is measured in years, not dollars. Our second rule is one that hit me like a ton of bricks when I finally understood it. The price of convenience is measured in years, not dollars. Let me explain what I mean. We live in an amazing time where almost anything can be delivered to our doorstep with a few taps on our phones. Food, clothes, entertainment, it's all right there, ready whenever we want it. But all these small conveniences add up in a way that most of us don't realize. Let's look at some numbers. The average American spends $2,400 a year on food delivery and takeout, $1,100 a year on coffee shop purchases, $1,200 a year on various subscription services they barely use. That's $4,700 a year on conveniences that weren't even options for most people 15 years ago. Now, here's where the years part comes in. If you invested that $4,700 annually instead, at a 7% average return, you'd have about $120,000 after 15 years. That's potentially years of freedom in retirement. But I'm not saying you should never order takeout or enjoy a nice coffee. That would make life pretty miserable. The key is being intentional and understanding the true cost. I used to grab coffee every morning without thinking. It was just $5, right? But when I calculated that I was spending over $1,300 a year just on morning coffee, it changed my perspective. Now I make coffee at home most days and treat myself once a week. That simple change alone is saving me nearly $1,000 a year. Here's a simple way to apply this rule. Before making a convenience purchase, ask yourself, is this worth working an extra day, week, month in the future? Sometimes the answer will be yes, and that's okay. But often you'll find it's not worth it. One viewer messaged me after hearing this advice and said they saved $200 in the first month just by asking this question before each purchase. That's $2,400 a year, or potentially years of freedom later in life. Rule number 3, your network determines your net worth. Now, I'm not talking about some exclusive country club membership. I'm talking about the people you spend time with, learn from, and share ideas with on a daily basis. Research consistently shows that your income tends to be the average of your 5 closest friends. That might sound crazy, but think about it. We adopt the spending habits of those around us. We learn about opportunities through our connections. We set our expectations based on what we see others achieve. The numbers back this up. One study found that if your friend becomes successful, your chances of similar success increase by nearly 25%. That's huge. But here's where many people get stuck. They think this means they need to ditch their current friends and family. That's not what I'm saying at all. Instead, strategically expand your network to include people who are where you want to be financially. Here's how. First, find communities centered around financial growth. This could be online forums discussing investing or entrepreneurship, local meetup groups focused on business or personal finance, free workshops at your library or community center. You'd be amazed at how many free or low-cost options exist. Second, consume content from people who have achieved what you want to achieve. Books, podcasts, YouTube channels. There's a wealth of knowledge available for free. I personally credit 3 personal finance books with completely changing my financial trajectory. They cost me less than $50 total, but have helped me increase my income by over 60% in 5 years. Finally, be the person in your current circle who elevates the conversation. Share what you're learning. Talk openly about money goals. You might be surprised to find others are interested in growing too. The rule is that money can be an uncomfortable topic in many circles. I remember bringing up investing at a family dinner and watching everyone suddenly become very interested in their mashed potatoes. The solution: start small and focus on being helpful rather than preachy. Instead of saying, you should invest in index funds, I just learned about index funds and they seem really interesting. Have you ever looked into them? Your network truly is your net worth. And the beautiful thing is that in today's connected world, you can build an amazing network no matter where you're starting from. And there you have it. 3 rules of money they definitely didn't teach us in school. Income minus savings equals expenses. The price of convenience is measured in years, not dollars. Your network determines your net worth. These rules have completely changed my financial life, and I've seen them work for thousands of others too. Remember, personal finance is exactly that, personal. These rules aren't about following someone else's strict blueprint or depriving yourself of everything you enjoy. They're about making intentional choices that align with your long-term goals. Financial freedom isn't about being rich. It's about having options. It's about waking up every day and making choices based on what you want, not what you're forced to do to survive. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss our next video. And let me know in the comments which of these rules resonated with you the most. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.